Good morning. Welcome, everyone. So glad you're joining us this morning, live streaming or here in person at Unity of Medina. I'm John Bierman, your spiritual leader. I'm so glad you're here this morning. Finally got a little rain, cooled things off a little bit. Thought we were in the desert there for a while. I was all confused. Welcome this morning. Unity's vision is that we see our world transformed through shared spiritual awareness. And our mission is that we promote a movement that calls us to spiritually awaken to our oneness to God, each other, and all creation. Spiritually awakening to our oneness. Aren't we doing that right now in our world? We're all spiritually awakening. We teach and live spiritual principles that inspire shared transformation and service. So let's begin this service with just a moment of prayer. Sweet, sweet Spirit, thank you. Thank you in this unusual time in our history for bringing us together in spirit, for being in our hearts and allowing us to open to that gentle touch from within. Now, if you would, guide us during this service. Bless Reverend Ann and her lesson this morning. Bless Angie and our music and our children and all of those who have come together to make this service happen. We are so grateful. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Okay, Angie. Take her away.
All right. Sorry, but please don't sing. I feel so sad saying that. But you can move. Remember, you can like kind of dance around if you want.
The Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Good morning. I'm Larissa Kosar, your platform assistant today. We begin our announcements this morning with a message from our Unity Board of Trustees Vice President Karen Malloy. Unity of Medina feels safe. We are all wearing masks, social distancing with no physical contact, and chairs are separated at a 6-foot distance. Our ushers and greeters are taking temperatures upon entry with touch-free thermometers, and we are logging the names of all guests. If you feel ill, please stay at home. CDC guidelines say stay home if your temperature is 100.4 degrees or above. Everyone is working together for the greater good. It is an individual choice regarding when you choose to come back to church, and we respect your choice. While a basket will be announced at service for collections, you're encouraged to contribute online. We also have the prayer box up front and invite you to bring written prayer requests up during the offering. You may always request confidential prayer by calling the church office or sending an email to prayer@unityofmedina.org. A prayer chaplain will respond to your request. Our annual meeting is Sunday, August 30th, immediately following service. Please join the meeting on Zoom so we have a quorum to vote for new board members and to discuss Unity of Medina applying for full status ministry, among other important issues. Finally, Reverend John's upcoming book study, focusing on Robert Brume's book called Finding Yourself in Transition, will begin with a 1-week delayed start date. This Zoom class will begin on Wednesday evening, August 5th at 6:30 p.m. Please email Reverend John at revjohn@unityofmedina.org to hold your place in this class, which is offered on a love offering, free will donation basis. Participants should read chapters 1 through 3 prior to the start of class. Reverend John has a few things he'd like to add at this time.
Thanks, Larissa. Here's the book, and you can get it on Amazon, and I think the bookstore may even have a few copies. But it's an incredible book. I just want to read a section here and why we chose this particular book right now. So I just want to read a paragraph. In this present age of uncertainty, perhaps the only thing certain is that life will change. Change is an inevitable part of our human experience. This has been true for humans in every era and is especially true for humans right now. Most of us who live today are witnessing and experiencing more changes in a few years than our ancestors did in their entire lifetime. These changes continue to occur at an ever-increasing rate. Indeed, it appears as if time itself has somehow speeded up. Rapid changes are also occurring not only in the world around us, but also in the world within us. So this book is literally a roadmap helping you to negotiate through this change that we're moving through. So if you would, please let me know by tomorrow if you're interested in being on the class, and then I'll get you the details about where to log in on Zoom. So thank you very much.
Today's daily word is taken from August 1st, 1967. Positive faith. I look at all things with a positive faith. I know that God's power is at work. What does it mean to look at all things with a positive faith? It means to see beyond the appearance of the moment to the underlying good, the underlying truth. A positive faith is a faith that is not afraid to act, a faith that is not afraid to take a stand for good. Today I look at all things with a positive faith. When situations arise that seem distressing or troubling, I breathe a silent prayer of thanks to God for his presence with me, to help me, to guide me, to show me what to do and how to do it. I believe in the power of God, in the power of good. I know that in and through all circumstances and conditions, the power of God is flowing. I trust in God's power to move through me, to work through me, to act through me. Peace of mind, freedom from worry, joy of heart and spirit are mine, as I continually meet all things in faith and with the sure knowledge that the power of God is at work, establishing order and making all things right. Today's gospel passage is taken from Micah 3:8. I am filled with power. And now Angie will prepare us for meditation.
I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear as I hang out there, no other has ever known. I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear as I hang out there, no other has ever known, no other has ever known.
Friends, today's meditation will be a reading. It's a litany of our ancient heroes who moved through faith to do what they were called to do. And this reading comes from Hebrews, chapter 11. So we begin by breathing in deeply, and we center our focus within our third eye. That's right in the middle of our forehead. Exhaling, we remove all that no longer serves us. Breathing in deeply again, we open our crown chakra, just the top of the head, and allow all the thoughts of spirit to greet us. Exhale and remove all that no longer serves you. And finally, we deep breathe again, and we call forth our ancient heroes and welcome their essence into our midst. Exhale, and your body, mind, and spirit is now relaxed and receptive. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, as it was the substance of things which have come to pass. And it is the evidence of these things not seen. And in this way it became a testimony concerning the elders. It was by faith Abel offered a more excellent sacrifice to God than Cain. It was by faith that Enoch departed. It did not taste death, and he was not found because God took him. It was by faith Noah, when he was warned concerning the things not seen, became watchful and made an ark to save his household. It was by faith that Abraham, when he was called to depart for the land which he was to receive for an inheritance, he obeyed, and he went out. It was by faith also that Sarah, who was barren, received strength to conceive an offspring and was delivered a child when she was past age. It was by faith that Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac. It was by faith in the things to come that Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau. It was by faith the parents of Moses hid him for 3 months after his birth. And it was by faith that Moses, when he came to manhood, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing instead to suffer afflictions with the people of God. It was by faith that Moses forsook Egypt, not because he feared the wrath of the king, and he survived after he had seen God. It is by faith that Rahab, the harlot, did not perish with those who were disobedient, for she had received the spies in peace. And what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, and of David, and also of Samuel, and all of the rest of the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, worked righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, became valiant in battle, and routed the camps of enemies. Therefore, seeing we also are surrounded with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Continue to breathe and allow the essence of those ancient heroes to sit within your body, within your mind, and within your soul for a moment of silence. Breathing deep, realize that you are now filled with more than your own consciousness. You are filled with the strength and the courage and the consciousness of the ancients. And therefore God continues. Breathing forth now, we come back to this time in this place.
This is a song I wrote called Remembering the Days You Flew, and I thought it kind of encompassed that holding on to faith during troubling times and holding on to hope. And reflecting on the fact that it will be okay. Ease your weary mind, hold your troubled heart. Do not silence any cries that could tear you up inside. Let it wash away every time you close your eyes. As long as you wake, may your breathing be your fight, be your fight. Safely follow through, pouring out of you, remembering the days you flew. Cleanse your tainted past of every selfish hand. Do not cling to what they've taken from you. You must heal and grow again. Loving you will free every part of you that dreams. Though heartache overflows within you, let it be just start to breathe. Start to breathe. Safely follow through,
just what they know. Every hand has felt touch. Some have hurt us too much. But look inside of you, remembering the days you flew. Remembering the days you flew.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend John, for inviting me to speak and for being here today to support me. It's truly appreciated. And I want you to know that your congregation have been holding you and Charlotte in our prayers this weekend as you participate in your Compassionate Friends National Conference. Friends, understanding faith is a tricky business. There's a myriad of uses within our language. And today I would like to pull out some key words to use as reminders, and then also to expand our understanding in order to create a friend of faith that will guide us as we create and manifest the best within our world. There is an online game called Warhammer Universe. And I don't know much about it, I just know it's an online game. But in that universe, if enough orcs, it's like between orcs and humans and stuff, if enough orcs believe something, reality will warp to make it so. And so I have a story for you about a guardsman, a commissaire, and the orcs. Once upon a time, there was a fierce battle raging in the jungle between the Imperial Guard and the local orc warband. Eventually, the Imperial Guard were running so low on supplies that the guardsmen only had the ammo on their personal belts left. Gathering the courage, one of the guardsmen floated the idea of a tactical advance toward the orcs' home base to their commissar. "Sir, at this rate, we will have no ammo left within an hour." "Don't be ridiculous, soldier. All you need is your faith in the Emperor." The commissar looked at the guardsman disapprovingly, raised his pistol at a charging orc, and yanked it up while shouting, "Bang!" To everyone's surprise, the orc fell over to the ground, unmoving. Emboldened, the guardsmen started imitating him as they ran out of ammo, and the orcs kept falling. Eventually, they were really getting into it, even tossing rocks as grenades and shouting, "Boom!" And the battle was soon turning in their favor. Suddenly, though, the orcs broke through the line of fire and trampled the guardsman. Before he lost consciousness, the last thing the commissar heard was the orcs chanting, "I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank." Probably not the best way to say it. Will Klingel would do a much better job. But I'm really good at laughing at jokes, but not always the best at telling them. But our first word today in this morning is belief. So put that in the back of your head. On the other side of orcs, we have an excerpt from a reflection on faith from the Dalai Lama, which says, "The Tibetan word for faith is depa, which perhaps might be closer in meaning to confidence or trust. In the Buddhist tradition, we speak of 3 different types of faith. The first is faith in the form of admiration that you have towards a particular person or a particular state of being. The second is aspiring faith. There is a sense of emulation. You aspire to attain a perfect state of being. And the third type is the faith of conviction. So we can add to our additional words, to our key words, as confidence and trust, admiration, emulation, and conviction. My friends, during the last 4 years, and especially since March, I have found it difficult to embrace the concept of faith as described by these 5 words. I do not admire nor have confidence in our governmental leadership. I have found it difficult to attain or maintain a higher state of consciousness. And I have been unsure of myself, and my beliefs and convictions have been tested. Now, I know these are not very positive statements, but I also know that these are very honest and authentic statements that could possibly be shared by others during this time of upheaval and chaos. I've also come to realize that since slightly before March, Spirit has been nagging me and has informed me that I should prepare myself for change. And I say nagging because I resist change very well, and Spirit and I have a relationship where if he thinks I'm not listening, he nags. So he doesn't let it go. Since the pandemic, I've had several changes. The best change is that I became a grandmother twice. I have my little 4-month-old Arthur, and now a little granddaughter, Meredith, who is 2 weeks. So there's been a change in my designation within my family unit and with what I know about myself to grandmother. It's a word I never thought. I had a friend breakfast yesterday who said, how are you handling that? I never thought that that would be associated with you. And I said, I didn't either. But my kids did at least wait until they were 30, except for Michael. He had to do it at 26. So, I'm at least in my 60s, so I guess I have to deal with it. So I'm still working on that one. We haven't even come up with a name that I'll be called yet because I can't be in agreement with any of them. Baba is our Slovak name for grandmother. That's what my kids grew up with. And that's what they want me to be called, but I just can't see myself as a Baba. To me, that's always been my aunts and everything. They were very short. They could wear the babishkas and the long dresses, and they huddled together like little hobbits. And I just don't see myself that way. So we're still working on it. Then I was furloughed from my job at the end of March. I was not allowed to work from home. Then, at the end of June, I completely lost my job due to restructuring at the plant. And from that time, I have been passed over for 3 other positions as I went to search for work. So I have definitely felt in limbo, completely unsure of my next steps. I've also had a feeling of restlessness during this time, because there's nothing I feel attached to. Should I be moving? Should I be going somewhere else? I just didn't seem to be getting any direction. And it's one thing to think about starting over on my terms. It's another when terms are happening without my input. And I pretty much went into a functioning depression. I have a friend. We've been friends for about 31 years. I'm blessed with some longtime friends. She has a cabin. Her name is Pat. She has a cabin in Pennsylvania. And I've been to her cabin now twice. So this last time I went, all of this had been occurring. And so I sat at her kitchen table to bemoan my loss of stability, my having to start over at 62, not where I thought I was going to be at my life, not feeling settled like my friends. I was really, really into a really good moan. And all of a sudden, and this is when you know you have a longtime friend, all of a sudden there's a whack on the back of my head. She had taken her puzzle book and and I said, "What the heck?" And she looked at me, and this is why you know you're still a long time, because she didn't even apologize. She says, "Aren't you lucky it's not a 2x4? And I thought, I understood that, but I still said, "What the heck? Where's your compassion, your sympathy, all of that good stuff that's supposed to come with our friendship?" And she said, "Since I've known you, you have never been settled. The very word gives you hives. You're always striving for growth. You've always have something new on the burner. Your life has never been easy, per se, and you've never stopped. You just keep going and going." So even though I acknowledged that, I wasn't quite in agreement with her response. And she said, "I have 3 questions for you. You're not to answer them today because I wasn't staying very long after. But she said, I have 3 questions. What's changed in your thinking? What are you afraid of? Or what's holding you back? And where's your faith?" And I went, darn it. There's that question of faith again. It seems like that's been coming up a lot. And so on my way home, I started to take it seriously, to contemplate and research faith and how it was affecting my life or not affecting it. And when I go into my research phase, I always look to all my different teachers. And one of my favorite teachers is Dale Allen Hoffman. He's an expert on Aramaic insights. Do you guys remember the story of Jesus and the fig tree, Matthew? Jesus went to Bethany, which is like, a couple miles from Jerusalem. And on his way home the next day, he was hungry, and he stopped at a fig tree and wanted fruit, and it didn't give him fruit. And so he said, "You're done." And the fig tree shrivels up. And the disciples saw this. So this is verse 20 through 22. When the disciples saw it, they were amazed and said, "How is it that the fig tree has withered so soon?" And Jesus answered, saying to them, "Truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will perform a deed not only like this of the fig tree, but should you even say to this mountain, 'Be removed and fall into the sea,' it shall be done. And everything that you will ask in prayer, believing, you shall receive." I first heard that story when I was about 7 or 8. I think it was 2nd grade. And I went to a Catholic school, so we were having religion class with the nuns. I was so excited. And the question I asked the nun was, has anyone ever moved the mountain yet? And of course she's like, huh? They rolled their eyes at me a lot back then. But she said, no one has had enough faith to make that happen. I thought, great. I'm going to be the first one. Now, there was no mountains at my home. But we did have a huge pile of dirt in the back of the garage. I don't remember why, but it was there the whole time I was growing up. And I thought, well, that'll work. So I went to work and I measured 2 of my little feet out, and I planted a stick. And then I stood back and I shouted, "Move!" And I worked on, it didn't happen, but I worked on it till my mother called me in for dinner. Still, I measured, still no movement. So I was really angry. And I decided that Jesus fibbed. I went back to class the next day and reported my results and my conclusion. You can imagine this did not go over well with the nun, which resulted in a phone call to my parents, which I hated those phone calls, and the homework of writing 100 times, Jesus does not fib, I need more faith. Now, Dale Allen has a more expanded view on faith, which has nothing to do with needing more, and which is what I would like to share with you now. Faith is not a mental process. It is the recognition of who you already are. It is the actual process of being it. It does not hinge on anything external. It hinges on your conscious center within. We're going to take the Matthew verse, and I'd like to go over a couple words that he explains from the Aramaic. They have a slightly different meaning to them. And then we're going to put it all together to see if it changes your thoughts. When Jesus said, truly I say to you. So truly in the Aramaic is amen, almost like amen. It means assuredly, absolutely, sealed in trust. And it's also a cubic measurement. It's an exact measurement. So when he says truly or assuredly, he's saying amen. This is exactly what you need to hear. This is exactly what I'm saying. This is exactly important. Then the word say, which is amar, means actually affirm. It's affirming to you. I say to you, I'm affirming to you, or I'm affirming in your knowing. And then the phrase, that if, which is deon, or to choose. Assuredly, I say to you, if you make the choice to have faith. So that's what the Aramaic is. So it's to choose. And then faith is a very long word. And those that really know Aramaic, please forgive me, but it's hachiman uta. Hachiman uta. Haich is higher consciousness of life. So when Jesus says, I'm here to bring you life, he was saying, I'm here to bring you haich, which is higher consciousness of life. Iman is being conscious of your rooted center. What do you truly believe? Ta is it's a feminine form, and it means the mental formation, our attitudes, our thoughts. And it means change. It's an action word, actually. It's saying bringing into life. So you're birthing it. You're birthing whatever you believe out into life. And then when he says do not doubt, ula is do not. Tek parun means scatter, distribute, divide, doubt. But he's using it more in the divide, the sense of divide. It says it's meaning remain single in focus, in consciousness. So you can't see duality. So if you think you don't have something and then you're praying for it, you're going to be praying for the lack of it because your consciousness says, I don't have it. So you can only be what you are praying for. You can only be your prayer. What I've come to realize is that I will not be able to find my next career because I need to still get rid of the thoughts that say, I don't have anything to offer. Or, I'm too old, who's going to want to hire me? All of those things that are against what I really want stand in my way. And so for me to move forward is to be single focused. I have to believe in the core of who I am that what I desire is what I am. It's more than even just needing. I already have it. The perfect job is already there. It's already within me. That's what this is about. Believing, Hakimanhu, is your rooted center. It's in your consciousness. It's being it. It's saying it's already yours. You don't have to beg for it. It's already yours. So it's like, again, what are you being? What is at the root of your center of living? Receive is tespun, which actually means hypocrite, not true face or not true source. Receiving has to happen in your consciousness before it will happen in your life. If you're waiting to receive it out there, you're not going to get the true receipt of what you need, because you're looking outside of yourself to get what you need. So they're saying that in order to receive fully, you receive first from within. First acknowledge that it's there. In Unity, we have this fake it till you make it verbiage. I never could get that one. And this past times I've been studying now on faith, these past few weeks or so, I realized that I couldn't do it because it wasn't authentic for me. I think that there's some more authentic way. Faking it is still, it's not in your consciousness yet. You're trying to do something that isn't really who you are, isn't really what you believe inside. And so I suggest that we face what we can't. So if you're with someone and you don't, their thoughts, their comments are agitating you, and you know they're agitating you, you face that within yourself, and you acknowledge, I'm being agitated. Now, you don't have to agree with them. That would be faking it till you make it, or I'm holding you in higher consciousness. I might not be at that moment. So I acknowledge where I'm at, and then I ask myself, what can I do that's real? Can I tell them, I hear you? Can I tell them, you've given me a lot to think about? I can do that. That's honest. And then I move, and I put down what agitated me on my refrigerator, and I know that Spirit won't let me forget that I need to work on that. That's a possibility of something for me to grow. So I'm not faking it. If you want to be rich, you can't fake it till you make it. You have to know that you are rich inside and allow Spirit to do the work. Faith works for us as we become conscious of what is happening within us. Again, it is not about what's happening out there, it's what's inside of us. Faith is a realization. It is not that it will be done, it already is. If you don't first have what you want in your consciousness, you won't have it in your life. Like if you want, let's say you want a new car. You really want this really new car, but you think, I don't know, maybe I really can't afford it. And then all of a sudden you get like a car that, needs brakes or, whatever kind of stuff cars do. It's not what you really wanted, but you didn't have that belief inside of you that you had it, that it was yours to do. For faith is more about turning away from the outer condition and looking consciously at what is at the center of your being. And if you find something you don't want, remove it through forgiveness. That's a whole nother process and a whole nother talk. But you can quietly remove it. I had to remove this, 50-some-year-old belief that I learned from the nun, that I didn't have enough faith. I mean, I didn't know why that story came back up. It was old. I had forgotten it, I thought. But there was something within that story, there was something within that experience that was holding me back from incorporating the true essence of what faith was. I thought it was something out there that I had to get. And so I needed to work on that. I needed to let it go. I needed to say, oh, you were only 8. Of course you couldn't make it move. You didn't understand the process. And I still couldn't make it move because physics and all of that kind of stuff. So it's not in my consciousness yet to make it move. But I had to remove that in order for me to hear the more depth of what faith is about. When you ask in prayer, Jesus says, when you ask in prayer, believing. So when you ask in prayer, remember that prayer is answered by what you are being. If you bring anger into your prayer, then you will get anger. If you bring confusion, you will get confusion. So when I'm saying I want guidance, I'm so confused. Well, I'm getting more confused. I'm not getting the guidance. It's not in my core of who I am, that center focus, that I have it. So I can't expand to it. The entire form of what you are asking is what you will manifest. From the Bible verse, when they say mountain, we can substitute mountain for anything. If we want peace in the world, we have to be peace within the root of who we are. If we want this world to grow beyond the current chaos, we need to look within and know ourselves and accept the challenge of our own growth opportunities. If we want to move from fear to faith, I suggest releasing the need to watch the news. I would lower your footprint on watching the news because you're not filling your consciousness with what is helpful and good for you. I also suggest that you face your inner fears and ask for guidance and seek support of others. Think one positive thought each day and then breathe it in. Take 5 minutes to concentrate on that positive thought and breathe it into who you are. Be kind and compassionate with yourself. Get to know all of who you are. And then at the end of the day, offer a moment of thanksgiving for whatever small or large blessing you received that day, even if it means, I'm thankful I got up this morning. So remember our 5 key words: belief, confidence, trust, admiration, emulation, and conviction. Ask yourself, are you ready to grasp these concepts into the rooted center of your being? Are you willing to accept these words as part of your essence? Do you believe in yourself? Do you have confidence and trust in yourself? Do you admire yourself? Do you strive to emulate your higher consciousness? Do you know the conviction of your own power and strengths? Our world is challenged with growing pains. It's not ours to make it all better. That will come with time. Ours is to know ourselves and to move out into the world protected in the arms of faith to create that which the world needs. I'm going to reread Matthew 21 through 22, coming straight from the Aramaic into the English. And this is quoted from Dale Allen. And he says, I am absolutely affirming to you that if you live your choice to consciously birth your actions from the rooted center of your being and remain single, not only will you do like this with the fig tree, but even if you affirm to this mountain to lift up and fall into the sea, you will receive the entire exact form that you held in mind and rooted in your belief. Namaste.
Thank you, Anne, for a very inspirational message. God bless you. Now we have an opportunity to bless our love offering. So those of you who are at home, you've got a little donate button there. Don't be afraid to use it. It's right on the website, and when you press it, it'll take you and ask you some information. Some of you that are here today, during this time, you can file up and put your love offering. Some of you already have. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your financial, emotional, and spiritual support during this time. It really means a lot for this community to have your loving support to keep us going during this difficult time. So thank you so much. Let's say our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And for this knowing, we are grateful. Thank you again for being with us this morning. I hope you have a wonderful week. Keep your faith, and let's close now with our peace song. So feel free to stand and let's dance a little.
Let there step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
In our prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.